I don't know if the situation's gotten any better at this point um after the what am I trying to say? All right, welcome to the Game News Show, the show where I talk about game news. Me, Chrono. Happy to be here. Let's dive into some things. We have the Overwatch 2 debacle. We have an update for Splatoon 3. We have news that will shock zero people with Google Stadia. I have a quick note about Sonic Frontiers, which has been kind of quiet lately. And then the rumor mill, which is something new we're going to look at when I get there. So let's get started with Overwatch 2. Okay, that game launched today. Pretty great. Season 1 is live, so we've got new heroes, new cosmetics, new maps, new mode, and a lot of work for new players. If you're a brand new player to Overwatch, like you did not play Overwatch 1 at all, Overwatch 2 is your first dive into the Overwatch series franchise. You're going to have to play a lot of games to unlock all of the legacy heroes. I get that people might be upset by that, but it kind of makes sense. You don't want to be overwhelmed with a bunch of choices and then you don't really know what you like to play. I think the base set of heroes for brand new players is pretty great. Also, if you don't have an Overwatch 1 like history, you're going to have to play a lot for a bunch of other reasons. So what better way to learn the game than starting with a small set of heroes and just unlocking more as you go? I kind of wish you could pick what you wanted to unlock up front. Maybe pick a hero you wanted to try. But I don't see why it's a big deal. If you're brand new to the game, there's a lot of nuance to learn. Don't overwhelm your people. You know, like if you're brand new, you got to learn how to play. And if you're thrown, a lot of JRPGs do this. Phantasy Star Online 2, when I played it on Xbox, it just kind of goes, here's a bunch of info and a bunch of menus, and you don't know what all that means. And if it had just been a little slower for me, I feel like I would have stuck with the game. Pacing what you have access to, I think, is a smart move. Maybe not the way they did it with Overwatch 2, but it's better than here's everything. Good luck, kid. Just saying. But on the flip side of that, they also can't seem to catch a break on server issues. So if you've tried to log into the game today, or if you're not watching this live, yesterday when this goes live again on YouTube, you weren't able to play for the longest. But there does seem to be, according to Blizzard's official sources, a DDoS attack on the servers, which is unfortunate. I think they're trying to spin up more server capacity at the same time. I'm not really sure, how were they not prepared for an influx of new users, especially when everybody was excited about this that already was playing Overwatch. So, yeah, not great for new players to come in and not be able to play the game. Not great for legacy players to come in and not be able to play the game. It's really just unfortunate. We're going to check it out after the stream. Hopefully it's gotten a little better. We tried to queue up a few times today just to see if we could log in and get into the main menu. And the fact that you can't even look at your character skins or the shop or buy the battle pass, none of that is happening, if you can't log in. So it's unfortunate. Hopefully they get that resolved. I'd like them to at least, find a way to let people in to set up their controls, set up their characters, maybe play the practice mode, the tutorial, make some of that completely offline. I think that would be fair. But anyway, let's move on. So, we talked a bit about Splatoon 3 the last episode. I was a little upset, aggravated that you couldn't play online without hitting a disconnect randomly. And it just kept happening. It really, if you go back and watch the streams from last weekend when we did the Splatfest and everything, it was very hard to maintain a connection, even in a party sometimes. So there was an update launched last week that I think it was around Thursday, maybe, that patched a lot of these issues, made things a lot more playable. I have not had extensive playtime with it since the update, but in my initial testing, I was able to play 3 matches with my daughter online, with one match getting disconnected, but we were able to quickly party back up and get back in queue. Before, It took a long time. It feels like they sped a lot of the back end like checks and stuff up somehow. I don't really know if it's better overall, but the games themselves felt a lot more stable. So, we didn't have anybody quitting or getting disconnected. It just didn't connect us to a match one time. We were able to play outside of that. And then I've done a bit of Salmon Run and haven't had any issues there, but I don't know that there weren't any issues there. But cool to see that they were relatively quick to get that updated, because like I said last week, for an online centric game, you have to have stable servers, your connections have to be good. They did mention in the patch notes that a lot of ISPs have things configured that might have resulted in these disconnects, and they're trying to mitigate that as best as they can. I don't know. Other games don't have these problems. So it's got to be something that the Splatoon team is doing as far as the net code goes. And that's where I'll leave it. It's up to them to make it work. And other games are able to play online without issues. So, I hope they figure that out, because the game's really fun. All right. In news that will shock exactly 0 people, Google Stadia being shut down in January, taken offline. And I say no one is surprised, but there were actually several people surprised by this. I saw several indie devs that were releasing games in the next few weeks, all the way through to the next few months through the end of the year, that found out the same way everybody else found out, which is terrible. Like, I don't know how they came up with the idea to shut down Stadia and not talk to their existing like development partners and people that have been, releasing content on their platform, which actually surprised me that people were still trying to release content on the platform. But in a bit of positivity from the Stadia team, they're refunding all purchases to everybody. So if you bought games on Stadia, you're getting your money back. And Ubisoft is actually looking at ways to let users transfer their games and their Ubisoft, I think it's Ubisoft Plus, I don't really know, subscription over to the Ubisoft desktop client thing, whatever that's called. I don't have it installed. I don't use it. But at least, Ubisoft is looking at a way to like keep players engaged instead of just, hey, here's some cash to go spend on something else. You can keep your games and play them on your PC. That might not work if somebody that subscribed to Stadia didn't have a PC to play on, but I don't know. I guess it's better than nothing. It's an option. So I'm kind of interested in how that'll play out for people. But yeah, not surprising that Stadia is getting shut down in the least. All right, so then we got Sonic Frontiers, which is a game I haven't talked about in a while, mostly because of the stuff that's come out. I mean, the newest gameplay that came out from Tokyo Game Show was covered extensively on other channels that are much better and timely, more timely than I am. But there's character customization coming for your, you'll be playing a Sonic, but you'll be able to customize Sonic in the game. And it was really cool to see that if you sign up for the Sonic Frontiers newsletter from Sega, you'll get the Sonic Adventure 2 grinding shoes, the soap shoes, as you can see in the image above. I think they look really cool. It's a nice callback. A lot of Sonic Adventure fans are all over this, and I think it's super neat. Yeah, that was just a little something in there I thought was cool and worth mentioning. And I am looking forward to Sonic Frontiers. I've been trying to avoid a lot of gameplay stuff because it looks great. I think the game's going to be fun, but I'm good. I'm good on checking it out. I want to experience it fresh. All right, and then a new segment for tonight. We're going to talk about Rumor Mill. I don't like talking about rumors, but let's check the Rumor Mill because there's been some interesting things that don't have an official confirmation, but a lot of people are talking about it, and a lot of places are supposedly have like verified sources for these things. So we have Horizon Zero Dawn up first. Apparently, this is the first game in the Horizon series now. Came out on PS4, got a PS4 Pro patch, got optimized to run on PS5. Apparently, they're doing a separate PS5 remaster, according to lots of different insiders in and around Sony. So interesting. I think it's a little too soon for a full-on remaster, because at this point, they're just taking the base game, bumping up the frame rate, and then slapping a $70 price tag on it. That's about it. It already runs really great on the PS5 as is, and I don't know why you would buy this remaster unless you just never played the game before. But even then, you can go buy the complete edition of the PS4 version, and it will work on your PS5. So that's like the first half of the rumor. It's weird. It's a little soon. The second was possibly a multiplayer centered title for Horizon coming out. I have no idea how that would work. The combat doesn't, I don't know, I don't think it would be that fun in a multiplayer setting unless it's a like co-op Monster Hunter style multiplayer. That could be fun, but I just don't see it getting I don't know how to say it. I just don't see it being really fun to play like PvP in that combat style, at least from the first game. I don't know if the second game sped it up. I haven't touched it yet, but it'll be cool to see. All right. The next part of the rumor mill that I wanted to cover is Halo Infinite supposedly moving away from its in-house developed slipspace engine into Unreal 5, and this is being thrown around by quite a few people that would, have this kind of information. I don't really know how true it is. Nothing's official until it's officially announced, right? But I think that would be a huge change because they built slipspace specifically for Halo Infinite, but it might be the change that Halo Infinite needs to get content out faster. The team moving to Unreal 5 from their own slipspace in-house designed engine might explain why content has been so slow to come out for Infinite, and then the content is starting to like ramp up a little bit, but then the change to the engine, the new engine might lend to a better experience, at least on the back end side. I don't really know. I think from what I understand, developers are having a hard time with slipspace because it's all in-house. There's not a lot of thorough documentation. But then when you jump into Unreal, you can find anything to do in the Unreal Engine through like YouTube and Google, and there's no shortage of info on the Unreal 5 engine. Excuse me again. But yeah, so it's kind of weird that they would completely like rebuild the game, but it's not the first time we've seen something like that happen. I know Fortnite, if it hasn't already moved from Unreal 4 to 5, it's slated to at some point, and so that's kind of like a whole new build. So yeah, that does it for the rumor mill. Just a couple of things I think are interesting that are worth checking out. That does it for the game news tonight. I hope you enjoyed this weird rambly version that I feel like well, I could have done better at. Anyway, if you're watching a video on YouTube outside of the live stream, thanks for checking out the channel. I hope you consider subscribing, liking, and leaving a comment. What do you think of Horizon Zero Dawn getting a full-on remaster just a few years after the first game even came out? Or do you think Halo Infinite will really move engines entirely? Anyway, let me know down in the comments. If you're watching live, we're going to attempt to play Overwatch 2 here in a second. Just bear with me while we get that set up, and thanks. Okay, we just did that. That was kind of cool.